Kickboxer starring Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of the most iconic martial arts films of all time. But what if I told you a real fight took place to inspire the Muay Thai versus Kickboxing showdown in the movie? On November 5th, 1988, one such fight actually happened. The man representing Jean-Claude was a legendary kickboxer by the name of Rick the Jet Roufus. The man representing Tong Po was a Muay Thai machine named Changpuek Kiatsongrit. And that is absolutely the best pronunciation I could manage. It took place at the Sands Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this fight would forever change the world of mixed martial arts. To understand how this bout unfolded, we must first look at how the rule set was conceived. In traditional Muay Thai bouts, just about every kind of strike is legal. Punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. The entire body is a weapon, which is why it is called the art of 8 limbs. In American kickboxing, kicks had to be delivered above the waist, with an emphasis on spinning techniques from Taekwondo and punch combinations from Western boxing. Knowing they would have no chance under Thai rules, the Roufus brothers petitioned for a strict rule set, barring knees, elbows, and fighting in the clinch. This rule set would heavily favor the American-style kickboxing, but they would, however, concede to allowing low kicks. And that is exactly what made this fight so special. Rick got to work early, leaping in with hard punches, but the Thai would immediately respond with battering body kicks. Rick was one of the best in the world at managing distance and continued to move in and out of range, forcing Changpuek to miss. But immediately from the start, the Thai fighter would land undefended low kicks, a detrimental weakness for the American. The effects of these kicks would take longer though, and Rick knew he had an obvious speed and punch advantage. In a perfect display of traditional karate, he threw the left body kick, but only as a setup, to land a same-side reverse punch. A difficult technique to pull off, and Rick did it perfectly. The Thai, fully committing to the check, took the full force of Rick's punch. He spit his mouthpiece out on the canvas in what looked like the end of the fight. Then just as quickly, he stood up unfazed and put it back in without washing it off. In another display of veteran savvy, Rick jumped all over Changpuek and delivered another left hand. The 30 seconds remaining of the round seemed like forever for the Thai. He took brutal punches in the corner and a spinning back fist. But somehow the mini Tong Po absorbed it all. He pushed his way out of the corner and survived until the end, with a jumping 2-touch back kick to seal the round for Lionheart. If you like hearing the greatest stories ever told from the world of martial arts, hit that like and subscribe button. And hit that notification bell too, so you don't miss any of the fighting lore brought to you by yours truly, Mixed Martial Artist. Changpuek was clearly still hurt, but using an age-old tactic to buy more time between rounds, the corner dumped an absurd amount of ice, all over their fighter, and then in true Three Stooges fashion, slowly attempted to clean it up. This may not seem like much time, but for a man as conditioned as a professional Thai fighter, this was all the time he needed. They did receive a 1-point foul for the antics, and this would put Changpuek even further behind on the scorecards. He would look like a fresh fighter in round 2 though, and the clash of styles resumed once more. With both men adopting the southpaw stance, it was totally a unique fight. The Thai fighter dug in with hard pivoting kicks, while Rick stood bladed and waited to dart in. The corner, likely recognizing Rick's weakness to low kicks, instructed the Thai fighter to slam away at full force. Rick wasn't quite immobile from them yet, but Roufus knew he was starting to have a real problem with these attacks. He grabbed to clinch the Thai, and Changpuek delivered a Tong Post-style downward elbow to Rick's head. Rick was visibly enraged by the dirty foul and came after the Thai aggressively, but Changpuek just absorbed it all and stuck to the leg kick game plan. He marched forward and countered a spinning back kick with a sweeping leg kick, and then followed it up with a very illegal stomp on the chest. Rick was clearly wounded from this blow and likely feeling the effect of the leg kicks. He knew he had hit the Thai with his hardest shots, and Changpuek was recovering fast. True to the movie, his corner tried to talk him out of going back in and just take the win on 3 blatant fouls. But Rick was a true warrior and wanted his revenge. Another 1-point foul would be deducted from the Thai fighter, but both men knew by now this wasn't going to a decision. The third round began, and Changpuek slammed in leg kicks with full force. He started reading Rick's punches now, and the shots glanced off his high guard with the use of leverage blocks. Rick knew he had no answer for the low kick, but that he also couldn't absorb too many more, forcing him to continuously pick his legs up and spin away from the shots, neither one being very good options. The southpaw stances gave Changpuek tremendous leverage to dig in with the low kick, and with no defensive shield in his way, he threw all of his might into the blows. Rick's mobility was starting to go now, along with his punching power. He tried for a clinch again and was easily thrown down. Rick would get extra time granted to recover after the throw, but the look on his face made it questionable if he even could. Another warning for the Thai fighter, but at this point, even the strict American-style rules weren't going to make a difference. The throw cost Changpuek 3 points this time, and at this point, I have no idea what the official score is. In possibly the most brutal strike of the fight, Chang landed a leg kick off of a clinch break, and Rick grimaced to the canvas. He somehow got up again and danced his way to survival. With still 2 rounds to go, throwing in the towel would have been the smart choice, but surrender wasn't in the Roufus vocabulary. He answered the bell to the 4th round, and Changpuek would come out ferocious, emboldened by the chants of the Thai spectators. He dropped Rick again early, and the look of pain was all that was left on the face of the American champion. He sprung up again to beat the count. He moved around as much as he could, and even deployed an instinctive cross-check. But his shins would be no match for the conditioning of the Thai. He slammed 2 more final low kicks, and the Jet would crash flat to his back. The referee couldn't bear to see any more, and knew it would be impossible for Rick to intelligently defend himself. He waved the fight off in the 4th round. The damage had taken its toll, and Rick was likely severely injured. The image of him carried out on a stretcher would prove how deadly of a weapon the leg kick was. The fight was awesome and showcased the skill of both arts. Rick almost had his opponent out with his fast hands and blitzing footwork, but Changpuek was just too conditioned, and he had a weapon Rick didn't have a defense against. The fight was a historical event in the world of martial arts and changed Westerners' view of fighting. The beautiful display of Muay Thai would happen a whole 5 years before Gracie's demonstration of Jiu-Jitsu in the UFC. It is not as widely known, of course, but no less deserving of its contribution to fighting history. I don't know if it really inspired the movie Kickboxer, but it is interesting the exact same story of Muay Thai versus kickboxing would happen on the big screen the very next year. Either way, it is a Hall of Fame worthy fight and a legendary moment in the long history of martial arts. Let us never forget the real-life kickboxer.